So this is Steve, and I'm here with Jim Mc Coy, who announced on Wednesday that he was running for the 5th District City Council seat in the city of Fort Wayne. Jim, we appreciate your time today. I was unable to make your announcement, so I thought we'd get together and just talk a little bit about why you're running and the announcement and anything else you might have to add along those lines.
Okay. Well, basically, I'm running now because, like a lot of people, I'm fed up with what's going on. Personally, I've always been involved in politics, and I've always been interested in government and politics ever since I was old enough to vote. And as my interest grew, I always thought that holding an office someday would be something that I'd want to do. But I really don't like the idea of career politicians. Personally, for myself, I thought I'd have a career in business and someday retire and then do what people call giving back and do something and run for office. Unfortunately, due to what I would say called irresponsible government policies, economic policies, my career plans have changed. Like a lot of others, I'm forced to change careers and come up with something else. And not only my career plans, but all my retirement plans are changed. And rather than sit around complaining about things and say, why are they doing this? Somebody's got to do something about that. Well, stepping up to the plate, and I'm going to try to do something about it. Starting here, at the city, this is where I think I could be most effective. So.
Okay. One of the things that you mentioned in your press announcement was talking about the city debt. To the tune of around 400 billion or 400 million.
Wow,
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a big mistake. A few extra zeros in there, but
I've been told the city's debt was 405 million. I've actually heard that figure from two different sources, and I told those sources, "Don't worry, I'm not going to mention your name on camera, so I put you on the press in that way." The official figures released in the budget for this coming year was 129.5 million. And I don't know what they mean by when they say officially. Is there an unofficial debt? Why do they have to qualify numbers? Why can't we just get one straight answer about how much do we owe, how deep in debt, and what exactly is meant by debt? Because we have debt and we also have unfunded obligations. If it's an obligation, it's money that we owe. Well, it's really a debt. For reporting purposes, well, they're not going to call it a debt because it makes them look bad. So it's really just juggling numbers and using, just words to make people think we're not as bad off as we really are. Mm-hmm. So I've actually had some calls into a couple of people today where I got those figures from, and I'll dig deeper into those and get into. I do have to eventually get into details, and so I'll do that. And if I have to correct those figures, well, then I'll say, sorry, I made a mistake on that. But I'm quite certain that when you add up the total debt and these figures that they're calling unfunded obligations, it's a good bit more than 129.5 million that we owe. So I said I'll address that 405 million. What we're looking at either way, I think, is just irresponsible budget management. In the last budget vote, there was a number of opportunities for responsible budget cuts, and maybe not even a cut. Let's not increase so much. And the responsibility is just not there. And unfortunately, I'm going to take some heat for this, but I would love to sit here and just blame it all on those Democrats and say vote Republican this time. But the Democrats, well, they didn't do it all by themselves. They had some help, and so. Well,
they had to because they have the minority at the table.
Yeah, we do have party-wise. We have a Republican majority, but there's that maybe liberal-leaning mindset in some of the Republicans, and so.
Sure. One of the things that always impresses me during budget time is the immensity and. Which I guess just the sheer immensity of the budget and how much there really is to looking through it. And I guess it's easy for me to say, I can think of ways to cut it, but they've really examined it over time, the last 3 years in particular, and I thought they've done a pretty good job of it. But you think that there was some votes maybe that could have gone a little differently. and that there is, you believe there is some fat.
I think there is still some, and it comes more than anything. I think there's always room for trimming. You can reduce spending just through efficiency, not necessarily eliminating programs entirely, but just really taking department managers and directors and really holding their feet to the fire and say, you really need to justify to me why we need to spend this money. I was just at a business meeting, a networking group not too long ago, when there was a speaker came from the Parks Department and was talking about adding $25 million to the budget next year for planting new trees. I'm thinking, trees grow. $25 million, my God. I hope the city council, can do something about that. I just think it's just irresponsible. I'm sure we like nice parks, and I'm assuming you're going out and buying maybe more mature trees or something. But for $25 million, we could wait a couple of years and let some trees grow.
Sure.
Okay.
Anything else you want to talk about at this point? It's kind of early in this thing.
Yeah, it is a little bit early. I'm going to the budget package that was just passed was pretty comprehensive, and it's real easy to do the Monday morning quarterback thing and say, well, I would have voted for this, would have voted for that, and all that kind of thing. I'm going to try to avoid doing that, but I will have to go through that budget and maybe pick some items and say I definitely would have voted against this and for that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I have to say is just really, I think just increase responsible budget management and get the budget as low. I need to be convinced that this budget is as small as it can possibly be. I just don't think we're there yet. Mm-hmm. And especially now, one of my big issues, one of the things that I'm taking issue with, which is it makes a real easy target, the mayor's consulting contracts. One thing in this budget was this 1% raise for the city employees, and 1% is nothing when you're talking about a pay raise. It's like what for some people it's like $30 a week or something, or maybe $30 a month for some people. It's not a lot of money. In the big picture of that $180 whatever million budget, this was nothing. But if with a little bit more responsible budget management, we probably could have got them 2 or 3%. And you take that 1% increase that went to the employees, the mayor spent more than that on consulting contracts for his friends. Cut that stuff out, and we could have given those employees their 2%. It's just responsibility, and also not just responsibility. In my announcement, I talked about not only the economic challenges faced by the city, but the next city council is going to have to face up to what I call the ethical challenges that's faced by the city, and it's things like these contracting. It's just not right, and something needs to be done about it. And that could take, off the top of my head, I don't have exact figures, but was it $1 million or more, that went to the mayor's friends? It's just irresponsible, and it didn't need to be. Everybody knows about the $72,000 Facebook class. Mm-hmm. It's just ridiculous, and it needs to stop.
Would you be in favor of lowering that threshold that's out there right now?
Well, obviously we're going to have to, because I think it used to be 100,000, mm-hmm. and the mayor, abused that, so they lowered it again, and they abused that, and it just, so something needs to be done. If that means it unfortunately take a lot of time and could slow things down if we say that from now on this council is going to have to review and vote on all city contracts. But when you just have that kind of irresponsibility, then somebody has to take charge and say we're going to stop it.
Sure. Okay. Anything else?
That's it on those two. Whatever you want to talk about.
Okay. Well, that's all that I had at this point, and. Yeah, Jim, we wish you well in the primary. I'm sure we'll be talking again before then. So,
okay.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for your time.
Okay, sure. Thanks a lot.